I died, choking on my own blood. The taste of rust and regret flooding my mouth as the car slammed into the guardrail, plunging into the icy black waters of Lake Michigan. Betrayed by the one person I trusted most, my sister, Lila, who I'd sworn was family thicker than blood. She'd whispered the directions that led me straight into that trap, her voice sweet as poisoned honey over the phone. And now, as the world faded to nothing, I heard her laughter echoing in my skull. A final gut punch. You always were too trusting, Rose. Time to let go. But I didn't let go. Not really. Because when my eyes snapped open, it wasn't to fluorescent hospital lights or some divine courtroom. It was to the familiar creak of my childhood bed in our cramped Evanston apartment, sunlight slanting through threadbare curtains like it had 1,000 mornings before. My hands, small, unscarred, nails bitten to the quick, flew to my face, tracing the smooth skin of 19-year-old me. The antique mirror across the room, that dusty heirloom from Grandma's estate, caught my gaze. It showed a girl with wild auburn hair and freckles across her nose. Not the hollow-eyed wreck I'd become at 29. I'd come back. God. Or the devil. Or sheer spite had hurled me back 5 years, right to the summer before it all went to hell. Heart hammering like a jackrabbit, I stumbled to the mirror, pressing my palm against the cold glass. It rippled under my touch. Or maybe that was just the adrenaline. But, for a split second, I swear I saw her, future Lila, smirking from the shadows behind my reflection. Fix it, the image mouthed, before shattering back to normal. Warning or hallucination, didn't matter. This time, I wouldn't be the sacrificial lamb. This time, I'd burn their world down first. The air in that shoebox apartment smelled like stale coffee, and the faint, floral rot of the neighbor's overflowing trash chute, quintessential Chicago summer, where the humidity clung like a bad conscience. I was Rose Harlan, community college dropout with dreams of graphic design gigs that paid more than minimum wage at the corner diner, and a sister who was supposed to have my back. Lila was 22 then, already slinging cocktails at some upscale loop bar, her laugh a weapon that disarmed professors and bouncers alike. We were Harlans, orphaned young, scraping by on grit and government cheese. But we'd made a pact under that same mirror after Mom's overdose. Blood in, blood out. No matter what. That pact? Bullshit. As I'd learned the hard way in my first life. Lila hadn't just betrayed me, she'd orchestrated it. The emergency call that night 5 years from now, her voice cracking with fake tears, begging me to drive out to that deserted overlook off Lakeshore Drive because Tommy's hurt bad. Rose. Please. You're the only one I trust. Tommy Whitaker. Her sleazy boyfriend. The golden boy from our high school who'd parlayed a football scholarship into a cushy real estate gig. I'd floored it through the rain-slicked night, tires hydroplaning on the curves, only to find no Tommy. No accident, just a rigged stretch of road where the guardrail had been weakened, courtesy of a bribed maintenance guy Tommy knew from his frat days. They drowned me out there, metaphorically and literally. My car sank like a stone, and, by morning, the headlines screamed, "Tragic suicide, devastated waitress ends it all after breakup." Suicide. After the boyfriend I'd dumped, Tommy, of course, supposedly shattered my fragile heart. Lila played the grieving sister to perfection, tears streaming at the memorial, pocketing the insurance payout that barely covered her designer handbag habit. But the real score? Tommy's family business. See. In my naivety, I discovered their dirty secret months before. The Whitakers were laundering cash through sham property flips, and I'd stumbled on falsified docs while temping at their office. Lila knew I'd confront them. Hell, she'd planted the files in my bag to frame me as the whistleblower. Better I suicide than testify.
Now,
At 19, with that knowledge scorching my veins like cheap whiskey, I had a second shot. No more playing nice. I dressed in my old cut-off jeans and a faded Cubs tee, the fabric rough against skin that remembered silk blouses from a life unlived, and headed out. First stop, the diner, but not to clock in. Margie, the chain-smoking manager with a heart like uncooked dough, was flipping eggs when I burst through the back door. Rose, you're early.
kid.
Shift don't start till noon. She eyed me over her readers. Spatula paused midair. I leaned on the counter, forcing a grin that felt like cracking ice. Change of plans. Marg. I need a favor. That old Polaroid in the office still got film? She snorted, wiping grease on her apron. For your artsy-fartsy crap?
Yeah,
But why the rush? Tell you later.
just.
Trust me. The words tasted bitter.
Trust.
What a joke. By afternoon, I was staking out the Whitaker Realty office on Clark Street, a glass-fronted eyesore squeezed between a vape shop and a falafel joint. Tommy was there, all broad shoulders and easy charm, schmoozing a client in khakis.
God.
He looked so young, untouched by the smugness that would later harden his jawline. I snapped a few shots from across the street, him handing over keys to a phantom property, the grin that said sucker without words. Evidence? Not yet. But seeds for the harvest. That night, back in the apartment, Lila crashed through the door at midnight, reeking of gin and gardenias, her signature scent, the one that masked the lies. She was a vision in a too-tight dress, hair tousled like she'd been rolling in silk sheets. Rosie, missed you today. Bar was a zoo. Some Wall Street douche tipped me a Benjamin just for smiling. I forced a laugh from the couch, where I'd been sketching revenge timelines on a napkin. Step 1. Expose the laundering without implicating myself. Step 2. Turn Lila's charm against her. Sounds epic.
Hey,
Remember that mirror upstairs? The antique one? Felt like staring into it today. Gave me chills. She flopped beside me, kicking off heels that cost more than our rent. Grandma's creepy relic?
yeah,
It's got that haunted vibe. Why?
just.
Dreaming weird. Like past lives or some shit. I watched her eyes, searching for the flicker of guilt that hadn't formed yet. Nothing. She was still the sister I idolized, not the snake she'd become. We ordered pizza, extra cheese, our ritual, and binge-watched some trashy reality show about cheating spouses. Irony much? As the credits rolled,
She nudged me.
you okay?
Sis,
You seem intense. I met her gaze, the mirror's warning echoing in my skull. Yeah. Just realizing life's too short for bullshit. Gotta grab what you want. You know. She hugged me, fierce and fleeting. That's my Rose. World eater. If only she knew. The next week blurred into calculated chaos. I enrolled in night classes at Northwestern Graphic Design. Sure. But with a minor in accounting. Because numbers don't lie. Unlike people. Tommy noticed me first. Of course. Spotted me at a campus coffee shop, nursing a black drip and poring over ledgers disguised as textbooks. Harlan? Rose Harlan? No way, Lila's little sis.
right?
From Evanston High. I looked up slow, letting my eyes widen like the innocent he remembered. Tommy Whitaker. Holy shit. Small world. What brings a big-shot realtor to Nerd Central? He slid into the seat opposite. All cologne and confidence. Networking. These profs got connections. You? Chasing that art dream? Something like that. I twirled my pen, angling for casual. Heard you're killing it with flips. Ever need a logo or promo stuff? I could hook you up cheap. His smile was a shark's flash. Intriguing. Tell Lila I said hey. We should all grab drinks. Bait taken. By Friday, we were at his favorite dive, a neon-lit hole called The Anchor, where the beers were cheap and the regrets expensive. Lila preened under his attention, her hand lingering on his arm as she laughed at his jokes. I played third wheel, sipping slowly, ears tuned to their banter. That's when I heard it, casual mention of a quick sale on a foreclosed brownstone. Cash only. No questions. Whitaker Realty's bread and butter, laundering fronts. As the night wore on, Tommy's eyes drifted to me more than once. Appraising. You grew up good.
Rose.
Not like your sis's wild stories. Lila swatted him. Playful venom. Hey. Rosie's the smart one. I'm just the fun. Smart.
Yeah.
Smart enough to slip a tracker under his bumper while he hit the John, a cheap GPS from Amazon. Sync to my phone. By dawn, as they tumbled into his Jeep for a morning after, I was back home, mapping his routes. Patterns emerged, late-night drops at nondescript warehouses in Pilsen. Meetings with suits who screamed mob adjacent. But revenge isn't a solo act. I needed allies, and controversial ones at that. Entered Jax Rivera, the tattooed ex-con for my diner's late shift crowd. He'd done time for boosting cars, ironic, given my watery end, and now slung freelance security gigs. I cornered him in the alley behind the diner, rain spitting from a bruised sky. Rose? The fuck you doing out here? Shift's over. Need your eyes.
Jax.
And your silence. I slid him a 20 and the first Polaroid, Tommy mid-handshake with a shady type. He whistled low. Whitaker. That prick's dad bankrolled half the north side. You in deep. Deeper than you know. I leaned in. Voice steel. Help me. And I cut you in on something bigger. No jail time. Promise. His laugh was gravel. Girl. That's how deals go south.
But.
Intrigued. What's the play?
Watch.
Report. And if I say jump, you jump. Controversial? Hiring a felon to tail a connected family? In Chicago. It was Tuesday. But my hands shook as he nodded, sealing it with a fist bump that felt like Faust's bargain. Weeks ticked by, a tense tango of normalcy and nocturnal scheming. Lila landed a promotion, head bartender, Tommy's doing, and started talking marriage. Blind to the rot. I nodded along, sketching flyers for Whitaker Realty that embedded subtle watermarks, transaction dates matching the laundering logs I'd hacked from public records. Nothing overt, just enough to make auditors curious if they ever looked. Then, the first crack. A warehouse drop gone sideways. Jax texted at 2 a.m. Trouble. Tommy spooked. Ditch tail. I bolted upright, the mirror across the room glowing faintly in the moonlight. In its depths, I saw it again, that ripple. Lila's future face mouthing. Hurry. Heart in my throat. I grabbed my keys. Time to accelerate. I met Jax at a 24-hour taqueria in Little Village, the air thick with cumin and caution. He looked wrecked, knuckles bruised. Bastard clocked me tailing too close. Punched out my taillight. Cops'll think it's random. But he's paranoid now. Damage. I pushed a coffee his way. Black as my mood. None fatal. But he mentioned your name.
Rose.
To his pop. Harlan girls sniffing around. Ice water in my veins. They knew. Or suspected. Lila texted then. Bubbly as ever. Brunch tomorrow? Tommy's treating. Two hearts trap? Or coincidence? I typed back, thumbs flying. Can't.
Crammed. Love ya.
Jax eyed me. You bail now. You're gold. Push. And it's war. War it was. That afternoon, I broke into Tommy's office, lockpick kit from Jax, gloves from the dollar store. Heart pounding like bass at a house party. I rifled drawers, snapping pics of ledgers that screamed felony. One entry stopped me cold. Harlan payout, LH. $5K. Lila. She'd been on the take for months, funneling my tips from the diner into their slush fund. The betrayal deepened, a knife twist. As sirens wailed distant, I slipped out, but not before leaving a gift, a printed email chain, anonymized, hinting at IRS scrutiny. Seed planted. Back home, the apartment felt like a cage. Lila was out. Thank God. And I collapsed before the mirror, whispering, what next? The glass fogged, then cleared to show not me, but Mom, pale, pleading. Her overdose no accident, but Whitaker forced silence on an old debt. Buried secret unearthed. The family wasn't just crooks, they were killers. Generations deep. Sleep came fitful. Dreams of drowning morphing into Lila's screams. Morning brought the call. Tommy. Voice silk over gravel. Rose, we need to talk. Now. I smiled into the phone. Game on. Tommy's talk was set for the anchor again. Neutral ground, or so he thought. I arrived early, claiming a corner booth with a view of both doors, Jax's paranoia rubbing off. The place was a tomb at noon. Just a bartender nursing a hangover and the jukebox crooning some forgotten Springsteen track about working-class ghosts.
Fitting.
He strolled in like he owned the joint, which, indirectly, he did, Armani slacks and a grin that didn't reach his eyes. Rose. Thanks for coming. Lila's worried about you. I arched a brow, stirring my untouched soda. Yeah? Tell her I'm peachy. What's this about? He slid into the booth. Close enough I caught his aftershave, cedar and conquest. Look, kid, can I call you kid? Your family.
Sorta.
Word is, you're digging into Dad's business. Flipping properties ain't glamorous, but it's legit. Why the interest?
Kid.
The condescension burned. In my old life, I'd blushed and backed off.
Now?
I leaned in, voice honey-laced acid. Legit? Funny. Those cash deals look a lot like money laundry to a girl with Google. And hey, if I'm family, why's my sister getting kickbacks? Harlan payout. Ring a bell. His face tightened. Just a fraction, the tell of a man cornered. You don't know shit. Lila? She's just helping out. We take care of our own. Our own. I laughed. Sharp. Like you took care of Mom? Overdose my ass. I saw the ledgers.
Tommy.
Debts called in with a needle. He went still, then recovered with a chuckle that echoed hollow. Conspiracy theories now?
Rose.
You're stressed. Breakups do that. Speaking of, heard you, and that barista fizzled. Tough break. The jab landed. A reminder of the fabricated breakup they'd pinned on me. I gripped my glass, knuckles white. Controversial decision number 1. Play dirty or walk.
I chose dirty.
Breakups?
Nah.
But accidents? Those stick. Like guardrails that give way on rainy nights. His eyes narrowed to slits. Threats now?
Que.
But listen, back off. And there's opportunity. Dad's expanding. Graphic design for the firm? Steady pay. Better than slinging hash. Bribe disguised as benevolence. Classic Whitaker. I tilted my head, feigning thought. Tempting. But I like my hash with a side of truth. Tell Lila I said hi. I stood, tossing a 5 on the table, and sauntered out. His glare burned my back. But so what? I'd rattled him. Jax was waiting in his beat-up Civic 2 blocks over. How'd it go? Like foreplay to a fistfight. I slid in, relaying the convo. He's spooked. Time to leak those docs. Anonymously, to the Trib's tip line. Jax drummed the wheel. Bold. Feds get wind. It's Rico City. You sure?
No.
But certainty was for suckers. Drop M at the library payphone. Wear a hat. That night, Lila came home early, face drawn under the makeup. She paced the kitchenette, twisting a dish rag like a noose. Rosie.
Talk to me.
Tommy says you're upset. About money stuff. I was at the stove, stirring spaghetti sauce, innocent domesticity masking the storm. Money always is, right?
Why?
He mentioned the kickbacks. She froze.
What?
That's crazy. He's just helping with rent. Lila. I turned, spoon in hand, voice low. I know. The payouts. Mom's debt. All of it. Her eyes welled. Crocodile tears or genuine. In this timeline, maybe a mix. It's not what you think. Tommy's family, they loaned us after Dad split. Mom couldn't pay.
So.
Things escalated. The OD? Accidental. Rosie. Swear. Lies layered like lasagna. But I played along, pulling her into a hug that felt like hugging a grenade. Then why hide it? We're sisters. Relief washed her features.
Fear.
The Whitakers. They're connected. Promise you won't. I promise. To your face. Inside. The mirror's warning pulsed. Hurry. The leak hit the papers 2 days later, a blurb buried in the business section. Anonymous tip alleges irregularities at Whitaker Realty. Tommy's response was swift. A smear campaign. My diner's phone rang off the hook with complaints, fake reviews tanking our Yelp score. Margie cornered me in the walk-in. Rose. This about you? Some realtor beef. I shrugged. Apron stained with ketchup blood. Water under the bridge.
Bull.
You're fired if it bleeds over. Controversial decision, too. Sabotage from within. That shift. I accidentally comped meals to influencers, spiking our socials while Whitakers tanked. Petty? Hell yes. Effective? By week's end. Tommy's dad, Big Walt Whitaker, a silver fox with a bear's grip, called a sit-down. His office screamed old money laundering, mahogany desk, walls lined with deeds to nowhere. Walt was cordial poison, offering a wingback chair and scotch. Miss Harlan. Family friend, essentially. This nonsense in the press, distressing. I perched on the edge. No drink. Distressing? Or damning? He chuckled. Deep rumble. Hyperbole. But let's cut the dance. Tommy says you're ambitious. Join us. Proper channels. We value talent. Translation: shut up or swim with the fishes. I smiled. Sweet as pie. Appreciate it, Mr. Whitaker. But I'm more into exposing talent. Like how your properties match IRS red flags. Walt's facade cracked. Just a hair. Blackmail's ugly.
Girl.
And illegal. Not if it's truth. I stood, dropping a USB on his desk. Copies of everything.
Timestamped.
Your move. Out in the hall. Tommy waited. Fury etched. He grabbed my arm. Bruising.
You bitch.
Lila warned me you were off. I wrenched free. Hissing. Warned you? Or sold me out? Close enough to smell his fierce sweat. He shoved me against the wall. Breath hot. Walk away.
Rose.
Or next accident's not yours. The threat hung. Electric. I need him. Hard. Below the belt and bolted. Laughter bubbling hysterical as I hit the street. Jax scooped me up blocks away. Jesus. You okay? Never better. Adrenaline sang in my blood. But the mirror that night showed fractures spiderwebbing the glass. My reflection splintered. Twist coming. It seemed to whisper. Lila confronted me at dawn. Eyes wild. What did you do? Tommy's livid, says you're ruining everything. I faced her over coffee. Steam curling like accusations. Everything? Like your cut of the pie? Or Mom's grave? She slapped me sharp. Stinging. You don't get it. They own us. Rose. Back off. Or we're both dead. The slap echoed the betrayal anew. Controversial decision 3. Cut the cord. I packed a go bag that afternoon. Essentials. The Polaroids. Jax's number and ghosted. Left a note. Fix your mess. I'm out. Crashed at Jax's walk-up in Wicker Park. A nest of takeout boxes and tattoo guns. He didn't pry. Just handed me a beer. Plan B. Escalate. We plotted over lukewarm pizza. Tip the feds directly. But frame it as internal whistleblowing. Risky. Could boomerang on Lila. But she chose sides. The feds bit faster than expected. A week in, my burner rang. Agent Carla Ruiz. Dry voice like sandpaper. MS. Harlan, got your package. Solid. Meat. Burner.
How?
Paranoia spiked. Jax checked his traces. Nothing. We met in a park off the lake. Benches scarred with lovers' initials. Ruiz was compact.
No nonsense.
Badge glinting. This Whitaker web's tangled. You in deep motive. Family. Half-truth. They took my mom. Won't take me. She nodded. Appraising. Cooperation means protection. But testify. And it's war.
Va.
The word thrilled. I signed on. Statements flowing like confession. Tommy's empire cracked. Audits. Freezes. Whispers of indictments. But revenge has teeth. Lila found me how? I didn't ask. Banged on Jax's door at midnight. Mascara rivers. Rosie.
Please. They're coming for me.
Tommy's unhinged, says it's your fault. I open the chain.
Face stone.
My fault? You drowned me. Lila. In that lake. 5 years from now. Remember? She blinked.
Confused. What?
You're crazy. The mirror's curse. Spilling secrets. I grabbed her shoulders. I came back. Saw it all. Your call. The road. The payout. Betrayal.
Sis. Pure.
Horror dawned. Then denial.
Lies.
You're high or believe what you want. I shoved the door wider. But run. Or join them. She fled into the night. Sobs echoing. Guilt gnawed. But steel overrode. Jax watched from the kitchen. Cold. Rose. Necessary. Dawn brought the raid. SWAT swarming Whitaker HQ. Tommy cuffed on live news. Walt stone-faced in a suit. Lila? Vanished. Elation mixed with ash, victory. But hollow. Then the twist whispered. A text from an unknown. Nice play. But blood calls blood. Check the mirror. Heart sinking. I raced to the apartment, abandoned, but the mirror waited. Fogged. Then clearing to show not me, but Lila drowning, not in lake water, but tears. A gun to her temple. Tommy's doing? Or mine?
No.
The reflection shifted, me. Holding the gun. Eyes dead. The warning wasn't for them. It was for me. The mirror's revelation hung like a noose, tightening with every breath. I'd come back to avenge, not become the monster. But there I was, glass-eyed executioner, finger curled on a trigger that mirrored the betrayal I'd sworn to end. Lila's ghost in the reflection mouthed, "Your choice," before the surface cracked further, shards tinkling to the floor like brittle promises. I swept them up, hands trembling, blood welling from a nick, real this time. A scarlet reminder that lines blur in the revenge game. Jax found me there, on my knees amid the glitter. Rose? Cops called. Whitakers are singing. Tommy flipped on Dad for a deal. It's crumbling. I nodded numbly, pocketing a jagged piece that caught Lila's vanished face. Good. But it's not over. He pulled me up, grip firm. Then what? Feds want your depot tomorrow. After that, witness protection if you play nice.
Nice.
The word soured. Agent Ruiz met us at a nondescript FBI field office in the Loop. Fluorescent buzz overhead like angry hornets. She slid a stack of plea docs across the table. Solid work. Harlan. Tommy's confessing to the laundering. Even the strong arm on your mom. Lila's implicated, small fish. But she's in the wind. My gut twisted. Find her. Before he does. Ruiz's eyes sharpened. Personal? We can protect.
No. Sharp.
Just. Mercy. She leaned back. Chair creaking. Mercy's a luxury in this racket. Sign here. And you're golden. New life. New name. Seattle? LA. New life. Tempting. But the mirror's curse clung. I signed, ink smudging like doubt. That night, Jax threw an impromptu wake at his place. Beers. Bad hip-hop. A pizza tower that defied gravity. His crew filtered in ex-cons, artists, the motley underbelly that made Chicago pulse. To Rose, the wrecking ball, Jack's toasted, clinking bottles. Laughter rippled, but his eyes held questions. Later, tangled in his sheets, decision 4. Controversial as sin. Bodies colliding in a haze of need and numbness, I whispered the mirror's vision. I saw myself killing her. Lila. What if I'm the villain? He traced my spine. Voice rumble. Villains don't question. You're just surviving. Surviving. By dawn, bruises bloomed like accusations, but clarity sharpened. I slipped out, leaving a note. Thanks for the anchor. Don't follow. Headed back to the apartment one last time. Air stale with ghosts. The place was ransacked, drawers yanked, couch slashed. Whitaker's parting gift, or Lila's desperation, in the chaos. An envelope taped under the sink, my name in her scrawl. Inside, a key to a safety deposit box downtown and a letter, pages trembling in my grip. Rosie, if you're reading this, I ran. Tommy's crazy. Beat me when I wouldn't call you off. The keys to box 247 at First Bank. Proof. Mom's real story, not theirs. I took the money because I thought it saved us. Stupid. Forgive, love always.
Elle.
Proof. Heart hammering. I hit the bank. A fortress of marble and suspicion. The teller eyed my ID like it was forged fair, given my alias Twitch. Box 247 yielded a ledger. Yellowed, Mom's handwriting, detailing Whitaker loans turned extortion. Names crossed out in red, colleagues who'd disappeared. And a photo, young Lila and me, grinning at the mirror. Grandma's ghost behind. Buried secret number 2, Mom hadn't OD'd alone. She'd been dosed. Party at the Whitakers to silence her. Lila knew had covered. Thinking loyalty. Betrayal. Yes. But born of fear. Not malice. Tears pricked. Hot. Forgiveness? The mirror said no.
But Rose 2.0 whispered maybe.
Tommy's trial loomed. A circus of suits and stenographers. I testified. Voice steady as Lake Michigan chop. The docks. The threats. The rigged road in my vision. Framed as hunch. Not premonition. The courtroom reeked of polished wood and popcorn justice. Spectators craning like vultures. Walt glared from the defense table. Tommy beside him. Shackled but smirking. Liar, he spat as I detailed the payouts. She's the thief. Planted it all. Judge banged gavel. But the seed stuck. Whispers. Harlan girls unstable.
Trauma.
Post-trial. Ruiz pulled me aside. Good job. But Tommy's got pull. Jailhouse whispers you're next. Next. The word chilled. I vanished into protection. A drab safe house in Joliet. Identity scrubbed to Elena Vasquez, barista by day.
Ghost by night.
Jack's smuggled visits. His laugh a lifeline. But tension coiled. Lila surfaced in dreams. Then reality. A burner call. Voice whisper. Rosie? It's me. Hiding in Gary.
Come?
Trap? Or olive branch? Decision 5. Trust the blood. I slipped Jax's watch. Took a Greyhound to Indiana. The bus rumbling like regret. Gary was Rust Belt decay. Motels with neon flickers and hookers in doorways. Lila waited in a no-tell on Broadway. Room 12. Door ajar. She looked wrecked, hair matted, eyes sunk. You came. Proof, I said. No hug. Handed her the photo. Mom. She crumpled,
Sobs racking.
I knew.
God.
Rosie. I knew and let them spin it. Thought if I played along. Betrayed me.
Flat.
To save you.
Desperate.
Tommy said drive that night or he'd expose the family debt, jail for fraud. I picked the lesser evil. Lies. But the mirror in the motel's chipped vanity rippled, showing her truth. Fear. Not greed.
Twist deepening.
We talked till dawn, secrets spilling like cheap wine. Her role. Courier. Not architect. Tommy's scheme. Walt's muscle. The road. Her call.
Yes.
But under duress, do it or we bury Rose next. Mercy stirred. Run with me, I urged. Feds can hide us both. She shook her head. Too late. Tommy's out on bail, saw my face on a milk carton equivalent. He's coming. Sirens wailed distant. Closing. We bolted. Her hand in mine. Fleeing into Gary's labyrinth of factories and fog. Jax's text blew up my phone. Where? Ruiz freaking. Abort. Too late. Tires screeched. Tommy's Escalade. Black as sin. Blocking the alley. He stepped out. Gun gleaming streetlight chrome. Ladies. Family reunion. Lila shoved me behind a dumpster. Go. I didn't. Pulled the shank Jax insisted on. Controversial armory. Felon gift. Drop it.
Tommy.
Feds know. He laughed.
Mad.
No? They pin your mom's death on me. Deal sweet.
But you?
Loose end. He fired. Wild. Clipping the bin. Lila screamed. Lunging. Chaos. Her tackling him. Rolling in gravel. Gun skittering.
¿Y dove?
Grabbing it. Finger on trigger. Mirror vision flashed me. Executioner. Controversial zenith. Pull or not. He rose. Snarling. Hand on her throat. Kill me. Killer. I fired. Not at him. At the gas mains sparking from the fray. Explosion rocked the alley. Flames blooming orange hell. Tommy flew. Lila with him. Screams cut short. I staggered back. Ears ringing.
Heat searing.
Jax arrived then. Sirens chorus. Pulling me away. Rose. Christ. She lived barely. Burns.
Coma. Tommy?
Crispy confetti. Walt folded post-blast. Full confession. But the mirror, salvaged from the apartment rubble, now showed whole. Me at 19. Smiling. Lila beside, sisters. Unbroken. Twist. Revenge saved us. Or damned. The hospital smelled like bleach and broken dreams. Monitors beeping a mechanical lullaby as I sat vigil by Lila's bedside. Her face was a map of scorched skin and 4 trails, but alive, defiant in its beeping pulse. Jax paced the hall. A shadow with a burner, coordinating with Ruiz. Feds are spinning at self-defense. Whitaker's done, assets seized. Walt facing life. I nodded. Numb. The gun's recoil, ghosting my palm. That shot not at flesh, but fate had shattered the mirror's prophecy.
No execution me.
Just survivor. But guilt gnawed. Controversial bile. I'd chosen explosion over bullet, but blood stained all the same. Lila's hand twitched in mine, eyes fluttering open at dawn. Milky with painkillers. Rosie. Whisper rasp. Here. Throat tight.
You.
Saved me. Or damned us both. The word slipped.
Raw.
She squeezed.
Weak. No. Tommy.
He whispered it all. The road. The call, forcing me. You're drowning? His plan. Not mine. I hung up before you hit. Prayed you'd swerve.
Truth.
Or absolution plea. The ledger backed her, her notes frantic. Stop her.
Can't.
Betrayal diluted to coerced complicity. Forgiveness flickered, tentative as candle flame. Ruiz swept in post-visiting hours. Clipboard armor. MS. Harlan, Elena, you're clear. Incident ruled justified. But exposure's high. Protection mandatory. Lila stirred. Both of us. Ruiz's gaze softened. Fraction. Sister's stick.
Huh?
We can swing it. New digs. West Coast. Start over. Start over. The phrase echoed the mirror's first ripple. That antique sentinel now crated in evidence lockup, feds dismissing it trauma artifact. I claimed it back. Personal effects loophole.
Has con artistris chaining.
Cradled it in the safe house that week. A Joliet bunker of beige walls and bad cable. Polishing its frame till my reflection shone true. 24 now. Lines etched by time unspooled. Jax moved mountains for the relocation. Forged docks. A van loaded with ghosts. Seattle. He declared over stakeout burgers. Rain like Chicago tears. But cleaner. I'll follow. Mechanic gig waiting. Controversial 6. Drag him in? His life. Felon fringes. Risked for my vendetta. You sure? This ain't your war. He grinned.
Crooked. Babe.
I'm the reinforcements. The drive west was a blur of interstates and insomnia. Mirror strapped shotgun like a talisman. Lila stabilized en route. Ambulance convoy. Her sedation a mercy. We hit Puget Sound under gray skies. A trio of reinvention. Elena Vasquez. Barista with a design side hustle, Sophia Harlan, Lila's alias. Physical therapy tech, and Marcus Reed, Jax. Grease monkey, at a Boeing supplier. Seattle embraced us grudging, drizzle perpetual. Coffee culture a bomb. I leased a craftsman bungalow in Fremont. Trolls and hipsters my new neighbors. The mirror hung central, in the living room. Its warning silenced to mere reflection. Days blurred. Shifts at a vegan cafe. Sketching logos for startups. Nights with Jax's hands mapping safer territories. Lila healed slow. Scars puckering like accusations. But therapy, group circles in church basements, unraveled the knots. I chose fear over you, she confessed one rainy evening. Us nursing teas on the porch. Steam fogging the chill. Whitakers groomed me. Loans turned favors. Thought I protected the family. You did, I admitted. Controversial grace. Twisted way.
But Mom.
That haunts. Her eyes welled. Knew the dose was laced. Party gift. Waltz test, silence or suffer. I covered to shield you from knowing. Shield. The word reframed betrayal as battered shield. Dented but intent. We cried then. Sisters mending over shared fractures. The mirror inside watching impartial. Months in. Normalcy teased. Jax proposed with a ring from a gumball machine. Laugh lines deepening his ink. No frills. But forever? Yes, breathless. Lila officiated a backyard do. Trolls as witnesses. Rain pattering applause. Happy? Tenuous. But real. Then the twist uncoiled, subtle as fog. A client at the cafe, silver-haired suit. Walt's echo, tipped too generous. Eyes lingering. Harlan? Thought you drowned back east. Ice in my veins. Paranoia or predator? I tailed him post-shift. Jax's old habits reborn. To a waterfront bar where whispers named him cleanup crew, Whitaker remnants. Loose ends tying. Ruiz called that night. Voice-edged. Loose thread. Elena. Tommy's cousin. Victor. Thinks you snitched final. Watching. Watching. The mirror fogged unbidden. Showing not future death, but present peril. Victor's shadow at our door. I rallied, Lila arming with pepper spray. Jax rigging perimeter cams from auto parts. Controversial 7. Confront or cower. We chose fight. Staking the bar. Victor was there. Nursing bourbon. Phone glued. Jax slipped in first. Accidental. Bump spilling drink.
Saw thee.
Manned clumsy. Victor snarled. Rising. Then froze as I approached. Lila flanking. Elena Vasquez. Coincidence. His sneer curled. Harlan bitch. You killed my blood. Self-defense, Lila snapped. Voice steel forged in fire. Your family's poison.
Walk.
Or join them. Tension crackled. Barflies oblivious. Victor's hand twitched gun? Knife. But Jax's grip clamped his wrist. Subtle menace.
Easy.
Feds listening. Bluff. But it landed. Victor paled, bolting into the night. Ruiz scooped him next on. Conspiracy charges stacking like Jenga doom. Aftermath. Quiet descended. Seattle's rain washing residue. Lila dated a PT colleague, soft-spoken vet. Eyes kind. I landed a design contract for a non-profit. Pixels healing what bullets couldn't. Jax and I talked kids. The mirror reflecting not warnings, but wonders. A nursery sketch. Laughter lines. But controversy lingered. Mirror's final whisper. One night. Post-love haze. Jax murmured. You ever regret pulling that trigger?
The blast.
Every day.
Truth.
But not saving her. Us. He kissed my temple. That's the rose I fell for, flawed hero.
Flawed.
The word fit. Betrayal scar faded. Not gone deepened understanding. Controversial piece. Lila and I. Blood mended. Toasted at year's end. To Sakon's chances. The mirror smiled back.
Whole.
Or so I thought. A year slipped by like Seattle mist. Elusive and enveloping. Our new lives weaving into something resembling tapestry, threads of routine stitching over vendetta's raw edges. Elena, Rose reborn, thrived in the design gig. Freelancing eco-logos for startups that preach sustainability while sipping out lattes. Jax's garage hummed with custom bikes. His laugh echoing off oil-slicked floors. Pulling me in for stolen kisses amid torque wrenches. Lila blossomed, scars paling to silver reminders. Her vet beau, Evan, proposing under cherry blossoms that defied the drizzle. We were happy. Or its American facsimile. Barbecues in the yard. Netflix marathons mocking true crime docs that danced too close to our script. Brunches where we skirted old shadows. The antique mirror held court in the hall. Polished to a gleam. Its surface now a portal to mundane miracles, me in a sundress. Auburn hair tamed, Lila's grin unscarred by secrets. But happiness, I've learned, is a jealous sentinel, guarding against complacency with barbed reminders. It struck on a crisp October eve, leaves carpeting Fremont like confetti from a funeral we thought buried. I came home early from a client meet, arms laden with takeout Thai, Jax's favorite, pad CEW with extra lime, to find the bungalow unnaturally still.
No garaje clank.
No Lila's playlist leaking from the kitchen. Guys, call echoed hollow. The mirror caught me first. Fogging without breath. Old habit. I set the bags down. Palm pressing glass. Cool as premonition. Ripple, not warning, but echo. A face. Walt Whitaker. Gaunt in prison orange. Smirking from beyond bars. Blood calls. Harlan. Chills spidered. Prison? He'd plea bargain to 25. Minimum security in Walla Walla, close enough for ghosts. I shook it off, blaming stress. But unease coiled as Jax's truck rumbled up.
Late.
Sorry. Babe, big job, ran over. He pecked my cheek. Grease-streaked. But his eyes darted. Tell? Where's Lila? Therapy run. Evan tag-along. Lies layered subtle. I let it slide. Dinner steaming forgotten. But sleep evaded. Mirrors gleam accusatory. Dawn brought texts. Lila. Bubbly. Girls' day?
Spa?
Jack's out early again. Inventory. Controversial 8. Snoop or trust? Trust had drowned me once. I tailed him that afternoon. Prius blending in traffic. To a warehouse district off I-5, industrial husks. Graffiti tagged. His truck parked beside a black SUV. Plates, Illinois plates. Whitaker holdout. Heart thudding. I crept closer. Phone recording. Jackson sighed. Voice muffled. Yeah? Victor sang before lockup. Harlan's clean. But the old man's got a message. Ledger's not all. Voice too, gravel. Unfamiliar. Walt wants insurance. The sister's soft spot. Leverage for appeal. Lila. My blood iced. Jax, my Jax, nodding.
Got it.
I'll plant the doubt. Betrayal redux. Sharper for intimacy. Not Whitaker pawn. But opportunist? The ex-con itch for score. Using our haven to flip remnants? I fled before rage erupted. Confronting Lila at the spa. Steam room sanctuary shattered by my whisper. He's playing us. Jax for them. Her face strained.
What?
No, Evan said. Evan. The proposal. The kindness facade. Twist uncoiling venomous. Whitaker's long game. Infiltrating via lovers. Turning sanctuary to snare. We pieced it frantic. Evan's vet cover masked fixer. Jax's garage a drop point for laundered parts. Walt's appeal hinged on recanted testimony. Ours. Coerced via planted evidence. Suicide note forged for me. Addict relapse for Lila. Controversial 9. Expose or execute. Mirror consulted that night. Alone in the bungalow. Its surface storming. Vision, not death. But choice, burn it all. Or build from ash. I chose fire.
Metaphorical this time.
Called Ruiz. Voice steel. Breach. Infiltration. Send cavalry. Feds swarmed pre-dawn. Jax and Evan cuffed in boxers on the lawn. Confusion morphing to curses. Rose, what the fuck? Truth. Marcus. Or Jax. Whatever you are. His eyes, betrayal's mirror, hardened. Survival.
Babe.
Whitaker's offered clean slate. Your war dragged me back. Lila faced Evan. Tears stealing to scorn. Us? Collateral? He shrugged.
Cuffed.
Business. Ruiz grilled us post-raid. Safe house relocated to a Tacoma motel, dingy, but defensible. How'd they find you? Patience, she muttered. Walt's network, cops, lawyers. We were fools. Fools. But fortified now. Testimonies ironclad. Walt's appeal crumbled. Life without parole stamped. Jax and Evan, RICO add-ons,
10 apiece.
aftermath, raw. Lila and I clung, sisters annealed in fire's forge, ditching aliases for Harlan Redix, testimony tours. Books whispered. From drowned to unbreakable, tentative title.
Me?
Design pivoted to advocacy graphics, anti-corruption PSAs. Bold lines cutting corruption. No Jax. No Evan. But therapy circles and a rescue dog named Mirror, furry sentinel.
Loyal sans shame.
Controversial end, happy. Or tragic flourish. We chose happy. Flawed American strain, rooted in rain-soaked soil. Blooming defiant. Lila, what a librarian in spring. Vows under vows of vigilance. I dated cautious. A barista with ink-free hands. Mirror approving with clear gaze. One eve. Unpacking the antique, finally home. I caught our reflections, Rose and Lila. 25 and 28. Scarred but standing. No ripples.
No warniness.
Just us. Think it's over? She asked. Hip bumped. Damn right. I grinned. First real since 19. We won. Blood called. Yes, but to rise. Not drown. Revenge's arc bent not to destroy, but redeem. In the end, the mirror showed truth. We were our own saviors. Fade to now. Seattle sun breaking clouds. A rare gift. Life. Second chanced. Savored slow.